Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Let's talk about why the view doesn't get it when it comes to police misconduct or police racism. Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. I want to dissect a segment that the View did on this incident that happened where two teenagers got into a fight, and one was black and one was Latino. Now, when you hear the news, you're going to hear the Latino is being referred to as white. And the reason why is because he is white looking. The reality is he's Latino. I'm going to play the first view, and then I'll come back and comment on this incident right here that went viral, and what you're going to see is going on with these two cops. Let's play the first video, and then I'll come back on the other side.
Right now, you're talking to individual. What are you going to do? You know how to come outside, come outside. Oh! Yo!
Chill. Brian, get up. Brian, leave. Oh no.
All right, now before I get to the view segment, I'm going to play that again, and I'm going to point out a couple of things about this video that is astonishing. Okay, it's absolutely astonishing. So let's play it again.
Right now, you're talking to individual. What are you going to do? You know how to come outside.
Oh!
Yo!
No, bro. Chill. Brian, get up. Brian, leave.
Now, what you see here, first of all, the two boys that was fighting, the white-looking boy was a high schooler. Okay, the black kid was in junior high, and the reason why that fight broke out is because the white-looking high schooler was bullying a younger friend of the black kid, and he was actually standing up for him. And then that's when the fight broke out. But if you kind of go back and remember what happened, the high schooler, the white-looking kid, was actually a little bigger, and he was actually getting the best of the black kid. He was on top, right? You need to understand that he was on top. So when the police comes, notice what they do. Notice the female cop. She sits the white-looking teen on the couch, right? And notice immediately the other cop tackles the black kid who was on the bottom being pummeled, right? He tackles the black kid, and they're going to put him in cuffs. So let's continue. Notice the female cops immediately comes over to assist her partner and puts her knee on the black kid's neck, right? Now the question is why? Let's continue.
Oh no. Yo, it's because he's black.
All right. Now, in another video, what you kind of don't see, in another video, if you notice, the white-looking kid stands up, but he actually puts his hands out because they interview the white-looking kid later, and he was sort of like wondering why he wasn't put in cuffs as well. All right. So the question I want to deal with is now the view. Of course, this video went viral, and of course the view was talking about it. But I want to talk about why their view is missing it. Why people seem to be missing the point here in terms of what's going on. Like, in other words, we're all asking the question, why did this happen? This is brazenly, right? So let's get into the view's take on this, and I'll narrate through their segment.
Right now, we're talking to individual. What are you gonna do? You know the
Video has been released of two police officers breaking up a fight between a black and a white teenager in a New Jersey mall, where they tackle, restrain, and handcuff the black kid and let the white kid sit down and watch. The black kid and his mom, along with their attorney, Ben Crump, talked to Don Lemon about this last night. Take a look.
I kind of felt like
I'm going to actually scroll through the Don Lemon interview. That's not what I want to focus on. But all right, let's pick up what we hear.
Is this just one more blatant example of the double standard in law enforcement? And why is this still happening? I mean,
now, to me, that's a silly question. Why is it still happening? Now, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to tell you exactly why it is still happening. I'm going to answer that towards the end of the video, but because it's a very clear-cut answer. But the fact that she's asking the question, why is this still happening? This is why I'm saying, this is why their view is wrong, why they get it wrong. The way they see how these problems persist. Let's continue.
I thought the whole idea was we were going to work to find ways to get the right officers in neighborhoods and in towns all over, so that it wasn't about what you look like, but about what you were doing.
And even with videotape.
Okay, my thing to Whoopi is, how would you surmise that? You know, it's the same argument when people say, well, you know what? We are past racism. America elected Barack Obama. Here's the news flash to that. Half the country did not vote for Barack Obama. And when you look at that half who didn't vote for them and ask why. So when she says right here, why can't we get past this? Because, you know, aren't we supposed to be looking not at the color of our skin, but at the content of our character? That's kind of the way she's going with that. Okay, really? Let's continue.
Even with videotape, yeah.
I'm wondering why the investigation is taking so long, because these cops are still on the payroll. They haven't been suspended.
I thought it happened like yesterday.
But why an investigation? Like, it wasn't yesterday, but why an investigation? I mean, the video is right there, right? They're still on duty. They're still being paid. And
okay, again, she's asking why is the investigation taking so long? Okay, there is a very specific reason. There are no laws. Now, I kind of just jumped ahead. That's kind of a teaser. But right there are no laws. Let's continue.
I think this is an example of of a larger problem. I mean, when you really look at the video, and I hope our viewers will, the white kid started the altercation. He was the aggressor.
Yeah.
And he was much larger. Yet when the police officers came and the white kid was on top of the black kid, they handcuffed the black kid because they made an immediate assessment based on the color of his skin that he was the threat that needed to be neutralized.
Yeah.
It felt like an overreaction across the boards. These are you can tell they're teenagers. And by the way, the little boy, the black boy, is just turned 14, so he looks really little. But they're in this area right when the police come up. Everyone, you can hear the audio. They're like, go, go, go! It's police. Everyone's leaving. So any threat you have of walking into an active group of people disappeared with the friends. Then there are two kids that clearly see the police. They're not still trying to swing. I felt it was an overreach. Like, why are you pinning people to the ground when you just had to come between them?
Because they figured that.
I would correct Sarah by saying they pinned one person, not people. Let's continue.
He was the threat. They figured that he was a threat. And it supports the statistics that black kids are 15% of the U.S. population, yet 35% of the kids that are arrested.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
And we look.
So that's a sad truth. So then we have to kind of go back and ask, so why? See, so why was that reaction? The sad thing is, black kids in schools are suspended, disciplined at a higher rate than white kids. Okay, we see here the reaction of police is, again, immediately you go to the black kid and cuff him. Okay, let's continue.
For these clear examples of racial bias, which I think this is as clear cut of an example as you can get, because we look for the same behavior, what would have happened if the kid was white, and that's what this was, except in real time. And we know that there is extreme racial bias in policing. It's actually underestimated, research shows.
Yes, it is underestimated.
And
So I'm sorry that I didn't get her name before. I don't know the guest host here. I don't know her name. She's a conservative / Republican. So she's bringing this view, which is interesting in and of itself, that she is saying and admitting that there is racial bias. All right, let's continue.
question is, what are we going to do about it?
Well, not much.
Now she's going to, again, a great statement when she said, what are we going to do about it? Great question. Okay? Now she's going to make kind of in my opinion, an absurd argument, but it is a great question. They're just not answering the question to me correctly. Let's continue.
Idea. But let me just say, because in the summer of 2020, when we had the best chance after George Floyd died, we had the very best chance in Congress, and Democrats used the filibuster to block Tim Scott's police reform bill. And which
that's only after Republicans had already blocked the reform bill that was put up by the Democrats. That's only after. That's a chronological order.
Or do you want something?
Oh, no, you know what I want? I want police officers. I want them trained.
Okay, now, again, the police reform bill that Tim Scott put forth still would not have solved the issue here, which I'm going to spell it out. I'm going to tell you what they could do that would end all of this, or at least cut it down. Okay? But the Tim Scott reform bill wouldn't have done that. Let's continue.
I want to know what your what is your background. So was we have had 3 bills to deal with police stuff. None of them have worked.
No.
So here's what I'm saying. I'm not pointing my finger at anybody, but if you want this to change, if anybody wants this to change, you're going to have to change the people who make the laws. Because
now, that's a hint. You got to change that, but not only do you have to change the people, you have to change the law. More on that later.
Frankly, if you come and you're going to be a police officer, I want your background checked. I want to know if you're part of the Klan. I want to know if you're a racist. I want to know if, whatever it is, if you're racist on either side.
But the problem, Whoopi, is that I bet my bottom dollar that if you interview these officers, they will say, I don't see color and I am not a racist.
Right. Yes, well, that's...
So, and Sonny is right. Here's the problem with Whoopi's perspective here. While it is good if they are openly racist, Now that's good. You can root out bad cops if they are openly racist. We just kind of seen this happen with a judge who the irony was that there was a black guy who was actually trying to steal a car, and then she was on tape. They were just really going at it with the N word, and she ended up resigning. She ended up resigning, not necessarily getting kind of discipline. But that only works if it's if they're openly racist. Now, on the other hand, they could always say, "I was racist, but I've changed." Okay, so still, that doesn't solve the problem, in my opinion. Let's continue.
That's the problem.
Well, bias is a problem, though, because it's also a subconscious. So
exactly
what you're training people, like, you're right, they're going to say
what
one
I
thing.
saw was racist. That's what I saw.
And those white policemen saw their kid, the white kid.
Well,
yes.
yeah, but again, if you have police officers in situations and they can't get it together, you can't be an officer. Mm-hmm. There has to be a standard about what you can and cannot do as officers, and then people have to actually implement them.
Yes,
I find
reforms.
I find it very insane that people who don't live in neighborhoods are making all the decisions for who polices those
That's
neighborhoods.
exactly right.
Yes.
And that's why estimates are that white liberals are more supportive of defund the police than African Americans.
I'm going to stop you with that, because it's not, white liberals are not more interested in defunding the police. I believe people...
Okay, the defunding the police has absolutely nothing to do with how cops act on the street. Absolutely nothing. This, of course, this is a conservative response here, but it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Most people understand that the phrase defund the police doesn't actually mean take money away from the police. Although, yes, there are some liberals who actually mean completely demolishing police forces, but they're a minority, a small minority. Most people understand that. So the idea of defunding the police doesn't change that. But again, I'm going to tell you what will later.
Higher levels of
people have been very clear about what they mean. They mean...
Do you have a statistic on that? Do you have an actual number? Because you say white liberals, like, you know, like...
No, white Democrats and Democratic
I'm a
leaners.
White Democrat.
Okay.
I don't believe in defunding
I'm not talking
the police.
about you unless you took the survey with thousands of people in it. I'm just saying that, like, these are not based in real neighborhoods and real experiences where people are experiencing these things.
Well, look at the demographics of Bridgewater Township. It's 70.5% white and 2.5% black.
Now, I will also add that even though that statistic is true, that in itself wasn't the problem in that case, because remember, you had the white team saying that the black kid was cuffed because he was black. All right, let's continue.
But
when you look at
why
those
has the law not been
demographics,
changed? I think
now, right there is the key right there, see? Why isn't the law changed? Okay? Why isn't the law changed? I can stop it right here. But why? I want you to hear again what she says. I want you to hear this again, and then I'm gonna end it right here.
0.5% black.
But
when you look at
why
those
has the law not been
demographics,
changed? I think
that's
that's
the
my
issue.
question.
The issue.
Okay, right there becomes when she says, why hasn't the law been changed? That's the answer. That's the key. See, until you change the law, the reason why cops act bad is because they know they can get away with it. The culture of policing, whether you are a good cop or a bad cop, you're shielded so that it is extremely hard to discipline and solve bad cops. Whoopi talked about, I want to know if they are, if they're racist. My point is that's irrelevant. If you change the law, you say, okay, look, cops, do your job. But if you break the law, and we are talking about they are entitled to due process, but if you break the law, we're going to take your, you're going to, first of all, you're going to lose your job. And by the way, this is, if it's warranted, due process, but you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your qualified immunity. You're going to lose your certificates. Now, certificates are very important because a lot of cops get fired or they resign and they go work for another police department. You know, if the crime is bad enough, then you can say you're going to lose your freedom. You're going to lose your pensions. You know, your pensions. This is why a lot of times you see these cops hurrying up and retiring. But if you pass laws that take away that shielding from them, they're going to stop all of that. I don't care about how they feel. I don't care that if they don't like blacks, if they don't like Obama, whatever. But when they're out there doing their job, if they know they don't have that shield, if they're going to behave badly, guess what? They're not going to shoot unarmed people. They're not going to, in this case here, like what would be fitting? What would be fitting for these officers here? At the very point, they should be fired. They should be fired. Yes, they should be fired. Okay? Now, should they lose their pension? No. Should they go to jail? No. But they certainly should be fired. Okay? So the laws can fit the crime, but you have to have the laws. And right now, you don't have sufficient laws that would do away with what shields cops from committing these bad acts. All right, guys, look, that's my perspective. I would love to hear what you have to say, your opinions and your thoughts. Add them to the comment section below. And remember, all comments are welcome. And don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Till next time, I'll see you then.